So the reason why we're recording this is so that we can kind of show our clients and potential clients what we do as a company to make sure that we get the job done right before the insulation and drywall goes in. So we don't normally have this many people on site for these walkthroughs. We also use these walkthroughs as training exercises for upcoming and new project managers so that they get to see the things that we're looking for and the things that we're doing. So today, this is what we call our pre-installation walkthrough. So we've passed our electrical inspection, we've passed our plumbing inspection. We're waiting to pass framing inspection. So today we're here to discuss and just double check that, you know, switches are in the right place, plugs are in the right places, pot lights are lined up. What else?
Revised framing is according to the new plans.
Yeah.
And that everything is lining up with regards to millwork, appliances, and that would be it.
Cool. So over here, here you can take my mic. Why don't you kind of walk through what we've got going on over here? Leanne will have to come with you.
Okay, so over here we're basically totally redoing the kitchen. The existing kitchen was more of a galley with 2 walls and a much more enclosed space. We've completely opened up the wall here on the right side. Most of the kitchen layout is remaining close to the same. We've got a fridge going here. Some filler cabinets, followed by our sink, dishwasher, and we're gonna bend over here into an L kitchen where we're gonna have an appliance garage.
Yeah.
And this millwork is gonna get carried all the way through to kind of create like a little desk area between these posts. We're gonna behind the posts, so there'll be like a little sort of countertopped desk area. There's a bit of millwork in this little niche where we're gonna have a bit of storage, as well as additional millwork coming along the end here for additional storage.
A bench.
Excuse me?
A bench.
A bench.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we're here just to review and make sure that, like, before we go into the bigger stages of the project, like installing millwork, that things are actually going to fit properly.
Yeah.
And we want to catch most of these, especially with rough-ins, so plumbing and electrical. We want to catch any sort of discrepancies before we've installed drywall and insulation, because as we know, if there's a problem at that point, after those things have been installed, it's much more difficult to adjust them. Now that the walls are open, we can easily see, if there's an issue based on the plans, and we can adjust accordingly before, you know, a more costly endeavor has accrued.
Have we caught anything so far, Leanne?
You bet we have.
All right, so what have we, point out some
Before
things
today or today?
Yeah, well, just in today, for example.
Just in today,
Yeah.
we have the placement of the dining room fixture just has to be moved over in alignment with another lighting that was already done in this home.
Yep.
So that just needs to be adjusted. And then other stuff I was already looking at was things that got fixed from last time when we did a quick walkthrough early on with the client, just to make sure we were happy with things. So things that got corrected are, there was a plug that's in an appliance garage that was in the wrong location. So we had to make sure that it fit within the gables of the cabinet. So it just needed to be moved over one stud. We have this reframed in so that the window is balanced and symmetrical. So the same size post on each side.
Well, you don't want to have one side bigger than the other?
I mean, we could, but it just looks nice and balanced when you don't. We realigned, because we moved this over, we realigned our pot lights so that it's in line with the center of, this is going to be an island here.
Right.
We dropped the
What's this
wire
wire here for?
For a little puck light. She wants to be able to like keep things right on the ledge here in between the two spaces. Our plug is now existing in this, now that it's been properly framed in.
Right.
So we have a plug on the island side.
Yep.
What else changed? Oh yeah, the little box. So there was like an old wood storage box, best guess, or something like that. A very outdoor, I'm not sure what it was supposed to be for. In the corner here, where we're gonna have basically desk. Yeah, we have desk storage going in there by the millworker. So it had to be, the old piece just had to be ripped out and reframed in and insulated. Because otherwise it's not really usable space, and we're putting a desk here, so it just naturally lended itself to storage for the desk area.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna have wicked light through here.
Very wicked.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite warm, so I think the shades, we'll have to get some shades, but yeah, just realigned all the pot lights after we shifted everything over last visit.
So to date, Stefangelo, what have been some of the struggles that we've had?
So, I mean, the biggest struggle has been twofold. One, this project had an existing flood or leak that was stemming from where this old drain pipe is, which actually is funny. We all thought that this was originally the culprit of the leak was the drain. Turned out that that was actually not the case. This has actually been a discontinued drain. At one point, this area here was a balcony, and they eventually enclosed it as a solarium. So this drain was actually used to service an above balcony, which is now a solarium, which was interesting. And after quite a bit of monkeying around, we came to discover that the window on this side here was actually the culprit of the leak. So we had to basically reframe the side of the wall, get rid of all of the rotted lumber, treat any sort of existing lumber that wasn't compromised but still showed some signs of rot, and then built over top and made everything really solid. The second hurdle that we had to climb was dealing with the ductwork. This posed several problems. One is we're working in a strata, and they were not inclined to allow us to just do a nice, easy, straight run right out the side and create a new penetration, because that would violate their bylaws. So they actually forced us to find a way to tie it in with the existing ventilation or the existing ductwork. This required us to go to the engineers because we needed special approval to be able to drill through the joists, as well as a plan to make sure that even though we were putting a 7-inch hole in these joists, they would remain structurally sound. And then to add insult to injury, we had a hard time drilling these holes because the joist cavities in this place are actually quite small. All of our joists for the most part are spaced 12 inches on center, and in certain cases, they've actually doubled and tripled up like the joist runs, making the cavities much smaller. Plus we have to install 5/8 drywall to allow for fire separation or fire blocking. So drilling the holes out themselves actually proved to be a bit of a challenge, but we were able to do that internally as a team, which I was really impressed with our carpenter and his skills.
Well, Amar is a legend.
A big time legend. Yeah. So basically just, showed us how it's done, and cool. Now we're waiting to get the ducts installed, and so we can book our framing inspection.
So yeah, we're doing a modern style fireplace design here, where we're gonna have a floating hearth underneath in the same millwork finish as the kitchen. So it'll tie in the teak wood really nicely. And the rest will be drywalled and ready for art. So it'll be a floating wood hearth underneath that runs 2/3 of the way across, I would say, of the remaining space, and then L shapes around to the back wall.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna look stellar once that's done, and just because it's totally floating, right?
Yes.
So what have we done for engineering in terms of to support that so somebody could sit on it?
So the millworkers are building like a smaller base along the bottom that's going to actually support the floating hearth, and it's kind of going to look like a false bottom in a sense.
Cool.
You're not going to be able to really notice the difference when you're standing back and you're looking at it, but basically the depth of the bottom is going to be a little bit more proud. That's actually going to uphold the floating hearth structurally, which actually saved us a lot of headaches, because actually what you might not know is that this entire bottom region of the fireplace is a no screw zone. So installing the hardware around this for the floating hearth actually a bit of a challenge, because we only have this little bottom area here that we can actually tie into.
Okay.
So the millworkers came up with, our first solution was actually using some very expensive hardware and brackets.
Yeah.
But then alternatively, we were able to find something that was a little bit better, because even with the brackets, it was still difficult to not get into this part here. So yeah, having the bottom piece stayed a little bit proud allows for us to actually build a structurally sound floating hearth, and maintains that floating hearth look.
It's gonna look stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that's gonna be your view from your dining area. Basically, the reason there's asymmetry here is, one, it lends itself to visual interest.
Yeah.
It has a more contemporary feel. And also the view, like you're mostly seeing this either from this space here, which is your living room, and from your dining room. Long-term plan for this project not part of this scope, but in the future, is to actually get rid of this pony wall by the stairwell so that you have continuous sight lines from the kitchen to this fireplace. The goal long-term would be you'd remove that solid pony wall, put down a base plate to finish that, because obviously it's not part of the scope, so the floor finish will stop. So there'd have to be a top cap in the future, and then the glass would be mounted on top of that.
So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We really take a lot of pride in making sure that we get projects done right and that we think everything through before it's too late. There is so much time wasted and so much money wasted in fixing things after the fact. And so we do work really, really hard for our clients to make sure that we put things in the right place so that when it comes time for the millworkers to install their cabinetry and the electricians to do their thing, everything just works and it is where it is. And this is our pre-client walkthrough. So we come through, we do this, we double check for the clients, and then before we actually get into insulation and drywall, we are actually going to do the same walkthrough again with our clients and make sure that they agree with everything that they see. So it really is a collaborative process, and we really want to make sure that our clients are aware and know what's going on in their homes. And we have a lot of fun doing it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you on the next one.